Hello, and welcome to another episode of Tribunal of the Grid, where we talk about all things Power Rangers, including the actors that hey, too. Hi. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Tribunal of the Grid.
Stop it! What the hell? Get it together!
Oh my god.
Okay, including the actors that played them. My name is Brandon.
My name is Lena.
And I'm Will. And wow, you really gonna keep that in there?
Yes.
Yes. I'm keeping the whole thing in there.
I don't yell at these people like that usually.
You don't?
No.
Oh, so we just gonna lie on here, huh? Like you ain't never yelled at us before. So this what we doing? we gonna lie on this Valentine's Day episode? Is this what we gonna do?
You know what? In Will's defense, he really doesn't usually yell at us. It's us yelling at him.
Well, I mean, true, but he has yelled at us before. in an excited manner, where it's just like, okay, damn, Will. I mean, you excited, but goddamn. But nah, like today though, no, for real. Today, we are going to be talking about couples, because Valentine's Day is like literally right around the corner. So we are going to be talking about Valentine's Day couples, the people who we think should have been couples. Because I mean, let's face it, like sometimes the actual people that we actually thought should have been couples were actually better than the couples that we had. Like, let's be real. So yes, we are going to be talking about all of that. We're also going to be, talking about some real life shit. You know what I'm saying? So the real life stuff. Because quiet as it's kept, I don't know about where y'all listening to us at. You know what I'm saying? But there is a certain place that we are on that we just really are side-eyeing right now because they doing some really weird stuff right now. Like supporting racists. So yeah. It's not funny, but you gotta laugh to keep from crying. It's kind of weird. So we're gonna be talking about that. If you don't know what we're talking about, we are talking about the whole Joe Rogan and Spotify situation. So we're gonna be talking about that. But before we get into any of that stuff, just to make y'all very well aware, we are on any place that you listen to podcasts. We are on Apple Podcasts. We are on, unfortunately, Spotify. We are on SoundCloud, YouTube, all the places. So definitely, if you can type it in, if you got fingers that can type us in. We are everywhere. So thank you all for listening. We really do appreciate it. You have no idea. We really do appreciate you guys listening to us, and giving us your hour and some change.
Sometimes sometimes a few.
Sometimes a few.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong. Sometimes, and this is no shade, but when I'm listening to other certain people's podcasts, I have to take breaks because they podcasts be long, but I love listening to them. And that's the thing. And I actually commit the time. Right. Like I commit the time to it, but I have to take breaks. So I'm like, damn, your podcast is 3 hours long. Like, goddamn. But I just love listening to them. So, it is what it is. But, I do have to break it up. But at least, this is just a little cute little hour, sometimes 2. So, whatever you're doing, you can put us in the background. You can do whatever, but just, we just appreciate you being here. So, yeah. But let's just go ahead and get right on into it. Because, we need to go ahead and talk about this situation. So if you've been following this situation, we are talking about the Joe Rogan situation with Spotify. So basically, everybody knows Joe Rogan. If you listen or if you know of his show, his show basically it is known for being the more alpha male type, which a lot of alpha male type men listen to his mess. He's very abrasive, very brash. And he quote unquote is one of those people who claims I tell it like it is. A lot of times it's misinformation. His opinions make no sense most of the time because none of them are actually
actual research.
Actual researched opinions, or have any fact to them. They're mainly just his opinions, and then he tries to make his opinion fact. When in actuality, that's not how it works. That's not how it works.
So essentially provides a platform for basically anything and everything, which is not cool because by doing so, you're also supporting exactly what Brennan says, like, very alpha male like tendencies and like just all the things that we don't stand by, as we are a group of people of color, representations, and just so much more that we're not with it. Not by any ways.
Not at all. Not at all. And just to piggyback off of what Lena is saying, his podcast it's literally the antithesis, the exact opposite of what our podcast and many others, honestly, promote and what we do. And unfortunately, his podcast and himself, he gets millions upon millions of dollars to
hundreds of millions.
Okay, to spew this bullshit on his platform. I mean, it goes from misinformation to racist remarks to just all types of foolishness.
Full on racial slurs. And
he gets paid for it. So, the people, specifically Blacks, specifically us, we know the power of our Black dollar because it runs everywhere. And, and the gag is what the Spotify CEO, which in turn he also came out and said he is in support of Joe Rogan, which I'm like, that's going to bite you in the ass. Because what ended up happening was I don't think he really counted on was the fact that many people were going to jump ship. And what I'm sure he realizes, but I'm not sure if he really realizes the extent of this, but most of the artists that are on Spotify are Black artists. And when you start really putting in the math of, okay, these artists are not really getting their due coinage as they should, be getting with their music being displayed on this platform, they aren't getting their things, but yet you're paying this man to be out here, saying the N-word all this time and spewing all this mess, this misinformation. And y'all ain't even, paying these artists their money, like paying them what they're worth.
Yeah, so, that was something that was really crazy to hear, because I've heard this before about what artists make for streaming, and it's like oh my god, like less than a penny per stream, right? Like the percentage is like less than
it's around that. It's weird. Like I don't really know the exact percentage, but it's like a very small percentage of what they actually make. Because I know if any of you know who India RE is, She basically broke it down in a video that she posted a couple days ago. She basically broke it down exactly how much she get paid per stream, basically kind of a situation. And and I'm gonna tell you now, it's not much. It's not.
It is low.
It is not much. And all this money from all of these artists, that these artists should be getting, they're not making nowhere close to what Joe Rogan is making. And yet this is and the thing that makes it so just heinous is the fact that the CEO of Spotify is like, I don't see a problem. Like it's free speech. So I don't, he shouldn't be, punished. Exactly. Thank you. He shouldn't be punished for having free speech. And here's what I say to that. Having free speech does not excuse you from having consequences.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You can say exactly whatever you want, but there should be consequences behind you saying whatever you want.
Absolutely.
Now,
pause for a quick sec. Like, cancel culture is a thing, right? So because it's a thing, I'm surprised no one has tried to cancel them.
I mean, well, that's the thing. I want to say people have tried. People have tried because, like, Joe Rogan is known for his BS. Like, people, a lot of people don't like Joe Rogan. Like, a lot of people don't really like this man because, like, he is literally that white alpha male persona that is just so beat my chest, like Neanderthal BS. And it's like, nobody wants to hear that foolishness because it's so archaic. Like, it's a very archaic mindset that is like, that a lot of his listeners have. Like, a lot of his listeners have this archaic mindset. And they are the ones who've been, pushing his foolishness along all this time. And I mean, there has been a lot of them that has been going to bat for him too. They've been like, no, he's not like that. He's not that bad, or, whatever. And it's like, you can listen to some of his stuff and be like, I already know what kind of man this is. So it's like, no, like, first of all, like, I've never even wanted to be a fan or never even wanted to listen to this mess at all anyway. So it doesn't come as a surprise that this is what he's given. Like, this is what he's serving. The part that surprised me was that also in NDRE's video, he said the N-word like 60 some odd times. Like, I mean, it was just repetitively N-word. And I'm like, oh no, like, I know this man could never say this mess in public. Like, somebody would have been like, come here, give me your mouth. Give me your mouth because I want to put my fist in it. Like, I mean, it's like, it's wild.
It was crazy to see some people had the nerve to like in his defense. What was the context?
What was the context?
Why the hell would this man have to say that word that many fucking times?
What was the context?
Like, no, that's not
he
okay.
Shouldn't be saying it, period. There is no context. There is no context. Well, I want to know what context he was saying it in. What does it matter? What does it matter? It doesn't matter. My thing is, nobody wants to sit there. Y'all want to ask what's the context on Joe Rogan, but yet and still, y'all didn't ask what's the context when it came to Whoopi. But we ain't gonna get on that subject, baby. We ain't gonna get on that subject though, because because this can go down a rabbit hole real fast. And then I'm on my podium for a whole 30 minutes talking about the disparaging foolishness between white males who can get away with stuff, and then when you come down to black people, especially black women. But anyway, we're not gonna do that. But it really does boggle my mind that people literally were coming to his defense on it. And it's like, no, unacceptable. Like, it is absolutely unacceptable, and he should be held accountable for the stuff he is saying. Absolutely. Like there is no way he should not be held accountable, which in turn goes back to the reason why we're bringing up this conversation. So the reason why we are talking about this is because we are also on Spotify. We are also there. And we have talked about it. And we are not planning on leaving. Because the thing is, and we're just gonna let you in on a little behind the scenes, a little background on us. So, and correct me if I'm wrong, Lena. So step in at any point. But so basically, when it comes to our podcast, we are through a kind of like a overall kind of like program called Archer, right?
Anchor.
There we go. Anchor. Where basically it has all these multitudes of platforms on there, name being Spotify, and Spotify owns Anchor.
Yes.
So in order for us to be able to have our platform on all of those areas where you can listen to podcasts, we would have to make sure that our podcast is under Anchor.
Exactly.
If we take our podcast off of Anchor, then that means that we would have to basically go through the long process of having to submit it to, like Apple Podcasts and, all these other places. And sometimes they take a very long time to get approved.
Exactly. So I've heard for some people, if you were to go through the real way to get approved just from Apple alone, you're looking at least 60 days, if not longer. And that's only if they approve you, if they feel that there's no other podcast out there that's like yours.
There you go. So, it's like we kind of got our hands tied. Yeah. So we just was like, you know what? Let's just go ahead and keep it here, but just not endorse them. And, not even kind of give them the time of day or even try to talk about them like that. So if you are listening to us off of Spotify, I would suggest to, not even give them any airplay or anything like that. Nope. Because we know that, views and listens can turn into dollars.
Yep.
Don't even listen to it off of Spotify.
Nope.
Listen to us somewhere else. Exactly. We're literally everywhere else. Literally. So everywhere. You can listen to us on YouTube, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts. Like we are everywhere. Google Podcasts.
I think Good Heart.
Picture, right?
Picture, all of it. Like we're on everywhere else. Sorry, you can listen to us on anywhere else that has podcasts and allows you to listen to podcasts. We sign up with Anchor, and Anchor really spread our podcast, which is great. It's great that it's giving us a platform, such a huge platform. And it's great that once we upload onto Anchor, aside from SoundCloud and YouTube, it literally distributes itself everywhere else. So it actually saves us the extra effort of uploading everywhere else and making sure it's there when it just gets disputed once and it goes everywhere. And that's kind of why a lot of people have been liking Anchor. Catherine and Akita themselves, they also use Anchor. It's quite easy to use. It's a very simple, you can even record through there directly. Not that I'm what's it called? I'm trying to promote them because I'm not, but I'm saying, this is why we chose the platform we did, right? Anchor just makes it a lot easier for us to be able to share our truth and our views and our opinions, So with that being said, although we don't agree with everything that's happening, we unfortunately cannot take ourselves off such a huge platform to limit ourselves to just YouTube and SoundCloud like before. So.
Right. So that's basically kind of where we are with the situation. We will definitely let you guys know if anything changes or anything like that. We will definitely let you guys know. But yeah, I would say just keep on listening to us, but just don't listen to us on Spotify. Just, go ahead. Cause I know for me, like I had a Spotify account and as soon as all that stuff happened, I was like, all right, I'm done. And I got rid of mine immediately. And literally I checked just before I got on, I came on here tonight. I was looking and the stock in Spotify literally crashed. Like it just dropped immensely. Like they lost out on so much money.
Good.
Because everybody abandoned ship. So it's like, I remember back in the day, quick story, like I remember how Spotify and Pandora was like neck to neck. Like they were just like, who was better? Who was better, Spotify or Pandora? And personally, I like Pandora more. That's just me. But because their mixes were fire. Like, I mean, like they had the best mix. Like if you put on like freaking, if you had like, say for example, you had Whitney Houston radio, Mariah Carey radio, and Ludacris radio. Like they will find a way. Like these are completely like random artists. And they will find a way to like make your radio and make it make sense. All by the vibe and everything. And it was like, they would make that junk sound so good. And I'm like, I love this. And somehow Spotify beat Pandora and they became the big dogs. So it's like, I went ahead and went to Spotify because a lot of indie music is on Spotify. Like I love a lot of the artists that are on there. And it's like, with all this stuff, it's like, dag, like everybody's leaving. And, now we have to figure out, okay, where are the people going to put their music now? Because it's very easy to put your music on Spotify. It's very easy. So it's like, where are the people going to put their music? What are the people going to do? So, that's kind of where we are, and people are trying to, figure it out. But I'd rather people really do, try to figure this out and, abandon this foolishness of Spotify, because I'm like, y'all, like, you really gonna stand on this hill by yourself with this man? Like for real, you gonna do this and let your whole thing crash? Fine, do that. Do that. So yeah, that is where we are right now. We just thought that we'd let you guys know that this is where we are. This is what's happening. So whatever you decide to do, we appreciate you anyway. Thank you so much once again for listening to us. And we're going to go ahead and continue the show. So as I said before, this is an episode about love and happiness. And child, we're going to be talking about these relationships, child. Now, I got a question for y'all. And y'all can also let us know, what y'all think about these relationships and who your favorite relationships are. But I got a question for y'all. Who are your favorite couples on Power Rangers? Like, what is that one? What is that one or two couples that made you go, I like them together?
Mine is pretty darn simple. We already know who Brandon is, but mine would definitely be Summer and Dylan.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Me and Brandon have the same one.
Yes.
Officially, unofficially, Adam and Tanya.
Period.
I also liked. I thought Tyler and Shelby were cute, and I liked Wes and Jen.
Yeah, but they were like, I don't know. I like them, but they were definitely they got to a point where they were overrated. Like I'm like, okay, I'm over you guys, but I do like them as a couple, yes. But also kind of weird because Wes is from the past and she's from the future, and Alex is literally an ancestor of like it's just I'm just saying it's a little bit much for me.
It is a little weird. It's a little weird.
And you know what though, I didn't even think of it this way until Fudge, what's her account,
Violet?
Yes. Yes. The Violet Ranger pointed out. I was like, oh snap. Like how you always kind of knew, but like it took her to actually like write it out for me. I'm like, oh snap.
Yeah. Speaking of Violet Ranger, shout out to you because you have been like her analysis on certain people. I'm like, yes, Miss Mamas, you better read because she reads and she reads hard. And I'm like, yes, Miss Mamas, you better read these people because absolutely you are saying exactly where I'm coming from. Like you are exactly what I'm saying. Like you're saying exactly the thing. I'm like, yes, this is it. This is it, baby. This is it. So as you know, like Will was right. Like my main favorite couple unofficially is always gonna be Adam and Tanya. Like it's just, it is what it is. We've seen it from the jump. You know what I'm saying? Like we've seen it. I mean, listen, Tanya and Sean, it was a no. It was a dub from the jump. Like Sean was too toxic, and he was one of them dudes who just couldn't get his shit together. And Adam came in like a thief in the night and was like, "Hey, yo, girl, I got you. And it was just like, I'm like, oh my God, like, yes, absolutely. And they was like joined at the hip for the rest of their time together. Like every time you turn around, it was Adam and Tanya. And it's like, absolutely. Like we love to see it. But yet and still they kept, well, the official couple is Catherine and Tommy. Girl, ain't nobody care about them.
Nobody cares. Nobody cares for them. And like, I still don't care for them. You know, like now we see them so many years later, they still don't care for each other either.
They ain't even recognize their own baby. That child sitting at home, still with this bike in the yard that Tommy told him to put away. And they still ain't recognize that child.
Right?
So no.
And they don't recognize each other.
And they don't recognize each other.
And remember when he was Dr. Oliver? He was getting flirty with Elsa there. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Okay. You know? Just saying.
Like, he was just saying. Real flirty. So, from what we learned, they've never been not together. So, I don't know, Catherine, where you at?
Where you at? But no, like my other favorite one, it's always going to be those two for sure. But and they never really went into this, and I wish they did. I really wish they did. They only had them together just for this team up. But Eric and Taylor.
Yes!
I love them two together.
I love them too. They were so cute.
Those two, I was like, I like this. Because they both were like, they did. And it was kind of sexy in a way too. Because the way Taylor was all up in his face, and he kind of had that little look like, "Ooh, I could just tear you apart." And I'm like, yes, right? Daddy.
Yeah, I
love it.
I wish we got more.
I agree. Right. I was so sad when that team up ended. I'm like, come on. I remember as a child, I mean, obviously I'll never find these stories or anything like that, but I definitely wrote like fan fictions about them. And I'm like, I really want them to be a real couple in my world too. Like they were so fucking cute. And in my stories, they got married. They got married.
See? Because like literally like they were perfect together. Like they were the perfect couple. They were perfect. And it's like Eric being this lone bad boy who never really found love in his life. And here she come being like on the same energy wavelength he on.
And
they both can't stand each other. They both Rangers. She a whole Air Force pilot. He a whole Silver Guardian. So they both got that little relationship going.
Yeah.
Like, they were the perfect match. Like
they seriously were like Tinder, like kids, like they would have matched.
They would have matched. They totally would have matched. And I'm just like, what a missed opportunity. What a missed opportunity. Well, I mean, yes. I mean, if we had a Power Rangers Tinder, they definitely would have matched for sure. Like they would have matched. Like point blank, it would have happened. Like. I love it. It was great. It was wonderful.
Their children would have been so cute.
Right?
Like,
right?
I'm telling you.
All their children would have had strong jawlines.
They should have. Yes. Honestly, for that team up, they should have just brought back Taylor and Eric. And have them right? And just have them find their children again. Like, I think that would have been so cute. Like, forget Tommy and Kat. Like, nobody cares. I'm sorry. Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. And like, the thing is, and this is no shade, especially not to Catherine, because Catherine Sutherland she did her best. She did the best she could do with what was given to her.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you know what, baby? You did that. You did that, especially in Turbo. Because she was like, doggone it, I'm going to define this character. And she did.
Yes.
And she did. Oh, Turbo Catherine is great. Like, Turbo Catherine is like the Catherine that I wanted since day one. Like, it was her. I was like, yes. And I love Zio. But Turbo Catherine, I was like, I wanted her. I wanted her since Mighty Morphin season 3. Like, that girl right there. Like, I want her. And I appreciate the growth, because it was a growing process for her. It really was. It was a growing process. And I'm like, you know what? Like, she had to get to her point where she was like, okay, because remember when she first started, she was real like, like, I'm still kind of shaky with this. I don't really know quite what I'm doing, kind of a situation. And then it was just like, by the time we got to Turbo, sis is leading. Like, she is telling old girl about herself, who was the dancer. That will always be one of my favorite episodes, because, child, she read her boots down. She said, I don't even know if I want to be your friend. You hateful helper.
I love that.
She said, I don't even know if I want to be your friend. You're nasty, you're rude, and you alienate yourself from everybody. Like, girl, no. But like, I loved her, like how she became who she was. And it's like, Tommy, like, you don't deserve this. You don't deserve her. You don't.
You didn't even pay attention to her.
At all. Like, the whole chemistry thing with them, they tried so hard to try to force it to make it work. And, that whole little thing with her, and this is why I hate There's No Business Like Snow Business. I hate that 3-parter. I hate it so much. That was like some of my least favorite episodes from Zio, was that 3-parter, because it bothers me so much, because first of all, a Dear John letter, really? Like, this is how y'all officially write Kimberly out of the picture? With this? Really? So there's that. There's the Dear John letter. And then you try to seal the deal with those two by having Catherine be like, well, I'm going to try to bring, Caitlin Starr from BR Troopers and try to make them together. And it's like, girl, and then Tommy ditch her. And then at the end, they're dancing or whatever, they're slow dancing and stuff. And this is the little straw that broke the camel's back, because now they're, they start like, ooh, I think I got a crush on you. No, you don't. No, you don't. You don't. Because I don't believe this. Like,
it was a bit forced, yeah.
It was very forced. It was very, very forced. Like, I am perfectly fine with having Catherine just still have the Joneses for Tommy, and then just realizing we're never going to be together. Like, that is actually very satisfying, and that's life. It really is. Like, that's legit life. Like, you like somebody, y'all never get together, and you move on, which is essentially kind of what happened until this whole mess with Tommy and Kimberly and how they broke up. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, let's try to make them two get together. It's like, we don't need it. Especially not when we had Tanya and Adam sitting like right over here being the best couple ever. And they just kind of like, we don't really need that. Like, what? Now, correct me if I'm wrong, and like, I just want to know y'all's opinion. Now, this is the 90s. this is the 90s. Do y'all think that because maybe they were interracial, like obviously interracial, that they were like, maybe this ain't gonna work? Because I mean, let's be honest. Now, Jason David Frank, from my understanding, is actually Native American. So he's not of the Caucasian persuasion, but he looks white. And he can pass for white. And obviously same for Catherine Sutherland. She is of the Caucasian persuasion. So do you think that maybe they were like, we don't want to quite introduce that interracial stuff yet? Because if you think about it, look at all the couples that we've had before now. Like before your Tylers and Shelbys and all of them. Like, let's be for real. Because we really never had really an interracial couple on the show. We really didn't. Like, this is kind of a new thing because it was Shelby and Tyler, and then we got I was about to call it
Blake and Tori.
Yeah, Blake and Tori. You're right, Blake and Tori. Well, they weren't really official though. They weren't really official.
They were. They because a little bit after if I remember correctly, they obviously were feeling each other in the beginning, and then I can remember the episode where, oh my God, what did Lothar, right?
Yeah, that's his name.
Yeah. There was an episode where I think he sent them to another dimension or something like that. And was it that, or like people, he made people have a crush on Tori or something like that? And then
those are two different episodes. Because both of those
two different episodes.
But they're two different episodes.
Oh shit. I haven't watched that season in a while. But it was later in the season where I thought that they had scrapped the relationship, but then they were like, he was still like sweet on her. And I thought that they were dating at that point. But
they weren't really they really weren't ever officially together. Like, they was kind of playing that little cat and mouse thing, kind of like with Trent and Kira, where it was just kind of like,
that bothered me so much. I wanted them together so bad.
I mean, obviously they would have been great together because they really were giving kind of like the Kimberly Tommy vibe. So they would have been great. Like, they would have been perfect together. But it was just like, nah, nope, never mind, nope. Like, that's just kind of how they played it. They never really were officially together. So it was just like, now they would have been one of the first official interracial relationships if they were official, but they weren't. So if you really want to talk about like official couples, like, really the first ones really was in like the Neo Saban era. Like, which is like over 20 years later that we finally got an interracial couple. So it's like, okay, that's weird. Then with, Calvin and Haley, and it's like you put this sister with the most toxic white guy you can possibly put her with. It's just like, and I know he is Colombian. I know, but he is a Colombian that is also of the white persuasion. We know this. But anyway,
I don't think that Calvin, the character Calvin, was Colombian. I think he's just a white guy.
Yeah, the character himself was a white guy, I believe. I personally feel like the character was white.
That's what I assume.
I always
about like last name and stuff.
Yeah, like Calvin Maxwell. Yeah, definitely a white guy. Like, definitely a white guy. But at the end of the day, I'm just like, you put her with this, like, I'm sorry, I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. But anywho, and this is not no shade to Nico, because he did the best with what he had. So I'm like, you know what, baby, you did your thing. but also at the same time, your character was trash. But neither here or there. You know, when it comes, I do feel like the people were just kind of like, I don't really know if I want to do, you know, interracials, you know, like let's do the most whitest looking people and put them together, whether they are white or whether they're not white, whatever. But if they can pass, put them together, kind of a situation. Because like, if they were people of color, they normally try to put people of color with other people of color. So, you know, it was just kind of like normally they were trying to put them with the same race. Like even with, you know, Trini. Trini had that crush on Richie. They never got together.
To be fair, Twee left.
Well, I mean, and obviously Richie got fired. So like, let's be serious. But you know, it's just one of those situations where it's just like they tried to do it, but it just never happened. So I'm just like, I don't know whether it's a situation. And honestly, to be truthfully honest with you, I'm not even gonna hold you. Do you think that they were even gonna do that?
I think so. I think so because they set the seeds for it, and if they would have stayed, I feel like, I think so, and I think we would have still seen Curtis around with Zach.
I don't know because like, and the reason why I say that is because they don't have a good track record when it comes to doing things with Yellow Rangers, because it's all about the Pink and Tommy. So Pink, Reds, and Tommy, like that is what they were about at that time. So it's like, well, Pink, Jason, and Tommy. Like, you know, let's be fair, because Rocky, child cheese. But and this is no shade to Rocky, but we all know. So, you know, at the end of the day, I just personally don't think that they was even seeing it for her anyway. And this is not trying to dog Tweet in any way, but any person who's watching the show could tell they favored Kimberly more. So I personally, from remembering watching the show, I don't really necessarily feel like they were going to give that much meat to Trini. And even if they were going to do it, I don't think they would have really, really, really done anything with it. It would just been like, oh yeah, they're together, moving on. And that's it. Like they wouldn't have really went into detail. They wouldn't have really, you know, went into it at all. It just would have been like, oh yeah, they're together. And you probably would have seen an episode of him being like, hey, Trini, can I ask you out? Yeah, sure. And then 10 episodes later, so Trini, are you going to hang out with Rich and Nate? Yeah, we're still together. Moving right along. Like, I mean, I kind of feel like that's kind of how they would have played it. Like they wouldn't have given her that much meat. That they wouldn't have given her that much to do, because unfortunately, and the show has shown us this multiple times, that they weren't really trying to give her much to do. They just wasn't. So, I mean, I would have loved to have seen her with Richie, because I think they would have been a great couple together, because like both of them were attractive, especially Richie. Jesus Christ, that man was gorgeous, honey. Woo, Lord. So they definitely would have been a great couple. But I don't think they would, even if we did get it, I don't think they would have done anything with it. You know, but that's just me. I mean, maybe they would have. You know, in a perfect world where they actually did care about all the actors and actually wanted to develop their characters, maybe they would have done it. But I just, from what they gave us and from what we actually got, I don't necessarily foresee, even before before the three actors left, I don't really see them giving her much to do. And that's just how I always felt about that. Jason never got any relationships until Zio. Mm-hmm. You know, Jason was just always, you know, by himself or whatever, practicing martial arts, and that's it. Billy was the Mac daddy, Billy couldn't stay in a relationship to save his life. I'm like, this boy probably had like 10 Valentine's dates every year. Like, you couldn't tell Billy nothing. I'm like, Billy is the Mac daddy. Like, he is the king of getting all the girls. Like, it is what it is. But yeah, like, I just don't really foresee like anyone from like the coupling of Mighty Morphin was always going to be Kimberly and Tommy. Now, there is some like people out there who think that out of the Stone Canyon trio, I have seen people be like, they think that Rocky and Aisha or Aisha and Adam were a thing. What do you guys think about that? Like, do you guys agree? Like, do you think that they were a thing or that they could have been a thing? Like, what is it giving? What do y'all think?
I remember for a split second, I thought when I was a kid, I thought maybe there was something with Aisha and Rocky. Looking back now, I don't know how. And then Adam and Aisha, no, they're like best friend siblings. I can't see that.
Yeah, Lena, what do you think, Lena?
I'm with Will. Like, I've never really personally, I never got the vibe that they ever had a thing. Any of the three of them, I just definitely got the whole they were best friends vibe. So that's interesting because, like, I don't know. I think the other thing that really bothers me is like, why can't guys and girls just be friends and not have them to be like a quote unquote couple? Like,
right.
Why can't they just be like, you know what? And why can't we just be one of those friends that are like touchy-feely with each other and not be couples?
And
like,
not be couples.
Like, I know people that are very affectionate people. Like, so why can't y'all just be, like, I just don't get it. Like, I never got the vibe. I never once got the vibe that any of them were a couple and they were a couple with each other or whatever. And then obviously after seeing Aisha's movie, I really don't see Adam and Aisha together. Period. So I don't know. But like, that's just how I feel. Like, I just don't understand the whole thing with having it being like, oh, they're opposite genders. They gotta be a couple. Or they're not, they are a couple, they just don't want to tell us. Like, why though?
That's my thing.
Why can't they just get along and enjoy each other's company? I mean,
exactly.
Like, that happened with Brennan and I once too. Like, someone thought we were a couple, and I'm like, again, but why? Why does it have to be a thing?
Okay, and like, I'm just like, it's so funny because like they thought that we were a couple, and I'm like, both of us are strictly dickly. Like, what we gonna do?
Yeah,
what we gonna do? Right? I mean, yes, I love Lena. That's my girl. But we're not together.
Right?
We both like the same thing.
Right?
Like, no.
And that's what, and I guess like that always, like, even obviously seeing them and then and having our relationship in public and people like assume that too. I always think, but why? Why can't you just let us all be? Like, why can't let Adam, Aisha, and Rocky be? Why do we all have to have a label on things? Why can't it just be simple as they're just friends enjoying each other's companies?
Right. And I mean, like, I always felt that way, especially about those three, because like when we were first introduced with them, like, they were just the sweetest. Like, they were just like, you could tell that it was a friendship. Like,
and you can also tell that Adam and Rocky are terrified of Aisha.
Oh yeah, Aisha runs that. Like, she runs that whole group. Like,
she really does.
They are her yes men. Okay, like, she runs that. So it's like, no, like, Aisha is the leader. So it's not Rocky. Rocky could never.
It would no. Like, oh my god. Have you guys heard of like the V line?
The V line?
Yeah, like it's in the shape of a V.
Oh, talking about the body?
No, like in formation.
Yeah.
I definitely, like, I don't know where I heard it from, but like kind of like the whole Mean Girl vibe with the whole V line, right? that was basically them without obviously the mean girl vibe. They were just like snatching it, looking great, owning it. They were strutting, well, whatever that word is. The other day, I learned a pussy stunning.
Huh?
Ooh?
So apparently, y'all know Nakia Dragon, right?
Know of her.
Yes. So I don't really know her. She's a YouTuber who's a transgender. She came up with her own beauty line called Nikita. No, Dragon Nikita. I don't even know what the beauty line is called now. My bad. I know it's like Dragon Beauty. Okay, it's Dragon Beauty. There you go. Love the fact that she brought up this thing called pussy stunning. I'm not sure if that's a real thing or she just made that up. But all I know is that basically she's like, you walk into the room and you look for it, and you own the shit, and you basically just strut, and people look at you, but you don't see them. I feel like that's exactly what Aisha and her group did. Pussy stunning.
Oh, just basically just walked in and owned the bitch.
Right, exactly. Sorry.
As they should,
right?
As they should. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, that episode when they became Rangers and they were walking, it was like part 1. And they were walking through the hallway, and all them had on checkered flannel. She had on her yellow checkered outfit, and everybody else had on the checkered shirts. And they were all in their Ranger colors, and they were just walking through the hallways. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, they own this. They own it. Like they came from Stone Canyon, and they were like, we about to own this bitch. Like, we are the transfer students, and we are the baddest. Like, period. Like, I'm just like, yes, it's a moment, it's a vibe. Like, we love it. We love to see it. And plus, I'm sorry, but and this always kind of like gagged me, as even now, like, you know, all these years later, did their parents just collectively just go, yeah, we're gonna send our kids from Stone Canyon to Angel Grove? How far is Stone Canyon from Angel Grove? And why did all 3 of them just be like, yeah, we're just gonna send our children there?
Do you realize, like, I don't think the parents had a choice.
What do you mean?
I think it was more of like Aisha sent out a memo and they just had to follow.
Aisha was like, look, so we about to go ahead and transfer to Angel Grove High, like, period. You ain't got a choice.
Exactly. So Aisha's like, you go home with this memo and you give it to your mom, Adam. Okay, Rocky, you do the same. And I can see Adam, same. Right? I can see Adam's like hesitation. Are you sure this is gonna work though? And Aisha's like, she's like, are you questioning
I said me? What I said.
Exactly. I said it exactly.
We are going to Angel Grove.
Maybe it was a situation. I never have really thought about this before, but maybe it was a situation where the parents all worked for the same company, and maybe the company sent them to Angel Grove.
Could have.
Yeah,
that's the only thing.
But I feel like
I could think of, because that's too random.
It's very random.
They don't care about parents. They only cared about parents in that one. What was that? That one. What was it? Return of an Old Friend. The parent teacher day, whatever the hell that was, and Kimberly's parents.
Well, I mean, Kimberly had the drama, honey. Yeah. She had the drama, which I was like, I appreciate, because it's like, yes, like we don't talk about, you know, divorce, you know, and all that stuff, and how, and the effects that it can have on a kid. And Kimberly definitely was having issues. So it's like, we love to see it. Like, we obviously don't love divorce, but we do love when they do real shit. You know what I'm saying? Especially in season 3, because sis was having whole nightmares. Like, you know, like sis was like really going through it. I'm like, ooh, child, they made Power Rangers turn into the Kimberly show. Love it. But yeah, like I agree. Like, I do feel like those 3 in particular, like, it was weird, because it's like, how does this work? You know what I'm saying? Like, how did all 3 of them end up transferring at the same time to this school? Like, how does that work?
I mean, it's kind of, well, you know what? It's the same way how what's it called? Aisha decided to stay as a child and go back to Africa.
Oh, child.
It's like that. You know, like her parents didn't miss her then either.
Well, no, her parents came randomly, woke up and found themselves in Africa too.
You know,
and was like, "Hey, girl, hey."
I'm telling you, Aisha runs the shit. Nobody knows it, but she's been sending up memos. Okay.
Okay, like sis was like, "Y'all know the deal. This is what we doing. So get rid of the get left."
What if like, oh my God, what if she's actually a real genius and she's not really even real after all? She has fake parents and like she's been programming everything. She's been running this whole show. We didn't even know it.
I do feel like she probably did make up all this stuff. Like we are watching the figment of Aisha's imagination. Like all this stuff belongs to Aisha. The whole everything. All of it does.
I'm telling you, man. Like all of it. It's just
like the whole entire show, like every bit of it. Aisha is a freaking morphin master. Like I call it. It is happening. It is what it is.
You know what? I would laugh. Actually, no, I wouldn't laugh. But it would be hella funny if one day they reveal it and it's actually Aisha after all.
Okay.
Like I'm telling you, she's gonna be handing out memos. She's gonna be like, yeah, so this is the final memo. I am the morphing master. And what? How do you think I knew what to do with that robot in the movie series? Okay.
Okay, period.
This is how we boogie with the bear. I'm telling you.
This is how we boogie with the bear. Even though I got blasted into a whole building, but we ain't gonna pay attention to that. We ain't gonna pay attention to that.
We ain't. That was a distraction.
I want you to know she was the only one that did not get to do anything in her Zord. I was like, how dare you? It's just like this girl. We had a whole moment. We thinking she about to throw down with this little piece of monster, and that thing shot her into a building. I'm like, shot her so hard her pendant came off her chest. Like we really gonna do that for real? All right, y'all. Damn, that's fucked up. Like y'all ain't had to do that girl like that. But not like I don't see how people got that. I really don't see how people came up with that conclusion. I mean, they did kind of the same thing. Now I do kind of feel like I do kind of see where people got the idea with TJ and Cassie. I do kind of see it because when they first met, they had such a cute little intro. So I can kind of see how people are like, I would love to have seen TJ and Cassie as a couple. I can see it. I can see that.
I can understand that. I can understand that too, but I just didn't. I never looked at them like that. I look at them like best friends.
Yeah, they're best friends for sure. Yeah, like I was one of those people too. I was like, I can see where you're coming from, but I don't see them as a couple.
Okay, but see,
they're just friends.
Again, like even with that cute interaction, it goes back to, but why? Why can't two people have a cute meet and let it be exactly just that? A cute meet into a beautiful, friendship, right? So it's just, I don't know. Like I don't want to say I see it because I genuinely did not see it at that time. And I still don't see it now. So I don't know. It's just, I can understand, I guess, if y'all trying to push things to happen. But I don't know.
I'm glad they didn't though. I'm glad they didn't push it because they didn't need it.
I don't mean dumb as in like the show. I mean like dumb as in like us, the fans. Like, wanting to push it to happen. Like, I can, whatever, ship who you want to ship. But I just don't, I never got that vibe. Even like, watching it back now, I'm like, I still don't get that vibe. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, no.
I just feel like
no.
I don't at all. But I'm sure there's folks that feel the same exact way about Adam and Tanya.
This is true.
I mean, you know what? Adam and Tanya, like I never saw it, but when you guys explain, I kind of see it, and it's different because they were always together.
Always. Especially in Turbo.
Exactly. So
in Turbo,
right? So I can kind of see where you guys were coming from. I didn't get that vibe when I was a kid, But now as an adult, I can actually genuinely see where you guys are coming from.
That was where I was too. I didn't see it as a kid. I remember years after watching Zio and Turbo, I had seen some photos of Adam and Tanya together, and I saw like fanfics, and I'm like, oh my god, people like them together. Ew, what? And then when I watched it, I still didn't quite see it, even though I started liking Tanya. But then when I was talking about it with other people, they were like, oh, Tanya. Then I looked at a couple of episodes again. I was like, oh my God, I do see it. Like in particular, what was that episode? Game of Honor. And when Adam is facing Tanya's ex, Sean, in a karate competition, and right before the match, she wishes him luck, and then she calls him sweetie. Good luck, sweetie. And it's like, come on now, you ain't saying that to you. I mean, some people say that to their friends, but I don't know.
But like,
yeah.
Right, exactly, right. So like, I don't know, that's just how I feel. But like, but I feel like with Cassie and TJ, I never once saw up. I never once.
They were always homies to me. I didn't see that at all.
I think, you know, the energy. You know how when you meet people, you just know when the energy is right. Like, and I felt like they just knew the energy was right, so they gravitate towards each other. I think that's all it was. Like, I don't think there was anything more than that, you know. But
yeah. And I agree 100% with that. And I mean, like I said, I don't necessarily disagree when people are like, oh, well, you know, they were planting the seeds for it since the very beginning, because I ain't gonna even hold you. Like, their first meet was super cute. But was it a situation where it was like, I automatically believed them to be in a relationship? No. Like, literally, like after that first meet, you could tell that they were like besties, like right off the jump. Like you could tell, especially with that cast, you could tell who was closest with who. Yeah. And that is what I loved about them, because they were all groups of friends, but you can tell which ones were closest with which ones. Yeah. Like you could definitely tell. And TJ and Cassie were like Siamese twins. Like they were always together. Like they were the best of friends. Yeah. Like, you know, and that's how they put them together. Same thing with Carlos and Justin. They were like the bestest of friends. Yeah. So it's like, you know, they had those kind of like partnerships where it was like, even though they were all friends, they still would always, if they wanted to hang out, they would gravitate to a certain person. Yeah. Kind of a situation. So that's what I always felt like with TJ and Cassie, but I never really honestly saw them as a couple. It was just kind of like, oh, okay, they're just really, really good friends.
That kind of reminds me of oh my god, Lightspeed. Chad and Kelsey. Mm-hmm. I love their relationship. They were, oh my god, they were always together, and their chemistry was just amazing, and it was completely platonic.
Well, I mean, also because Kelsey is a whole
well,
she liked the same thing that Chad liked. Okay, let's be for real. Kelsey was like, "Ooh, they probably be at the beach looking at girls together. Like, is that your type?" Like, no, she's not athletic enough for me. What do you think about her? Like, well, she's too wild for me. Okay. Kind of like just scoping out the girls together. I could totally see that. I could totally
see that. And I totally see that. And like, did people really try to ship them, or well, like I never got that vibe though, but
I'm sure there was somebody that shipped them because they were a boy and a girl always together.
Exactly.
Just like another blue and yellow, Trini and Billy.
Mm-hmm.
I never looked at them romantically. I looked at Trini as like his protector.
Yeah. Trini was like always like Billy's older sister. Mm-hmm. Like she was always very protective of him, but I never saw them as a couple ever. I never saw them as a couple. Like, now I will say though, the original version of Trini with Audrey Dubois, they had written that she was actually supposed to have a crush on Billy. Oh, wow. Her version was Trini actually had a huge crush on Billy. Yeah. So I'm like, that's interesting. And that was supposed to feed into the whole, like, she understand Billy's techno speak and all of that and all this stuff because she actually really liked him. I never got that from Tweez Trini. Never got that from her. It was more so of, like we said, it was more so like she was his older sister, kind of like his protector, kind of a situation. So yeah, I never got that. But yeah, I have seen that. Like, people just shipped Trini and Billy. Another group that people just love to try to ship, which I'm like, it's a dub. No. Kendricks and Leo. It's a dub. Like that. No.
I shipped the hell out of them. Because of that
don't.
first episode.
When she giving him the I want to set you up vibe.
And him too. He was feeling it too.
They both was sitting there looking at each other, salivating, drooling all out the mouth. Like,
I was so mad that they didn't go full force with it. And then I was oh my God, what was that? The Red Romance episode? I was heated because they totally dropped it.
Dropped it like a hot potato. It was like, nope, that ain't happening. Nope. And that's why I'm just like, nope, just didn't see it. And I mean, like, they had their little thing where it was just like, oh, they kind of like being all friendly and stuff, a little bit too friendly. But it was just like, nah. And I mean, like, to be truthfully honest, I ain't even hold you. I didn't like them together. Even if they were going to try to put them together, I didn't like it. And it's nothing against them. I just personally felt like them as a couple, I didn't like. I felt like she was too smart for him. Leo is a dummy.
Leo was kind of a dummy. Yeah.
He was a dummy.
I mean, he was also really hot though. So I don't know. Like, we've seen that before, you know? Like, the smart girl gets the trophy husband. Like, why not?
And then he ended up getting on her nerves, and then they end up getting divorced, and it's a lot.
You know what? I mean, at the end of the day, he will probably make it up to her before the divorce even got there. You know, I think they would have worked it out.
I don't see it. I really don't. I never saw it for them.
I feel like, I don't know. You know what though? I will say this. I think in the beginning, I got this vibe that they were trying to push them together because they were pink and red. Rangers,
yes,
right?
Absolutely.
And I was like,
absolutely.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that because I don't know. I just know how I feel about that, you know? And then as time went on, I genuinely just didn't see it. I didn't see them as a couple. But then did they ever try to revisit that? I don't remember.
No.
Not really. No.
I think the last time we saw something was like right when we came back from that little break after the Magna Defender died, and then they came back and Mike was back, and I think like there was a little more flirting in one of those episodes, and then they just completely dropped it.
Yeah, like that wasn't really a thing anymore. It was just like,
Then I have a feeling it was because Valerie got sick.
Probably. Because they did have a lot planned for Lost Galaxy. Like, they had a lot planned. But when she got sick, they had to, like, cut out a lot of that stuff. So, I mean, it makes sense. It makes perfect sense. But I still feel like I don't want... I don't think I would have liked, where that was going, because I just didn't see those two as a couple. Like, I didn't respond well to those two as a couple. It was just like, I don't, like, it's just, they're just pink and red. Like, that's really all it is. They're just pink and red. That's all. Like, I'm just like, all right, whatever. Like, I guess. Now, I will say, what we should have had was a little piece of Maya and Chandra. Because the way Maya was riding for Chandra, Maya was about to kick Kendrick's ass in that room. Like, she was like, you don't know Chandra like I know Chandra. And Kendrick was like, well, when the dude shot the monster, he shot her in the leg and he said the monster was limping. And then when I seen Chandra, she was limping. So I just assumed, she was like, well, you assume wrong because Chandra wouldn't do that. Like, I mean, Maya was all up in Kendrick's face. Like, you're just mad because you're just of our friendship. Like, girl, just say you like Chandra and call it a day.
That's interesting. I absolutely never saw
that. I was like, ooh, child, Lover's Triangle.
She really fought for that. And you know what?
Lover's Triangle, girl. Child, the way I was like glued to the TV with my popcorn, like, ooh, child, this is getting juicy. And then come to find out that was a whole ass monster. But it's like, girl,
she was like, defending a whole ass monster. So
defending a whole monster.
To Chandra?
Okay, she was rock. She was rock on Miranoi. She got turned into rock like everybody else.
That's why I was like, now, girl, come on now. Like, you really sitting here talking about some, like, that would have been the first clue right there. Like, everybody on Miranoi are rocks right now. You're just finding this girl after all this time. How the hell did she get on the, like, you're talking about, the portal that you jumped through went to the moon. Chandra should have still been on the moon. Like, the things the math ain't mathing. Like, how did the portal, that means that Chandra would have been on Terra Venture and she would have seen Chandra way earlier than that moment. Like, the math, the timing just didn't, like, it just didn't match up. And it's like, girl, come on. You are the only person that lives in Terra Venture wearing an Amazonian outfit. The only person. Like, literally. Nobody else is wearing, like, a bathing suit top and a freaking cloth as a skirt. No one is wearing that. And boots. Nobody wearing that outfit. And Chandra wore the same outfit you was wearing. So I'm pretty sure people would have noticed you too. Immediately.
I'm actually wondering how that monster knew about Chandra.
Good question. I'm actually wondering how that monster knew too. I'm actually wondering that. Like, do you think that maybe that could have been Chandra? Now, what would have been a very interesting story is what if it was Chandra and Chandra just made a deal with the devil and was like,
oh my God,
to save my life. Did you say what?
You just pulled that out of your ass.
I mean, yes. But, I mean, but wouldn't that have been an interesting story if she would have, like, legit been like, you know what? I will do anything, just like save me. Like, I will do anything you want. And they were like, oh, okay, cool. Like, so go kill your friend.
But he was like, okay, she's a rock.
Well, maybe she wasn't a rock, or maybe I don't know. I'm just trying to come up with a better story than what we got. That's all. That's all. Like, that's all I knew.
I'm just saying, like, if she, I hear what you're saying, and you know it's a good story plot. But I'm just thinking, like, okay, if that's the case, then how would she have known, right?
I mean, yes,
and
that is a very good point.
You know, like, how would she know that she's even a rock if she's a rock? But
well, I mean, that too, because I mean, I'm pretty sure she wouldn't have known that she was a rock at that point. So, but no, like, that's very interesting. Well, go ahead.
Ooh, maybe. Oh, okay. Another plot twist. What if one of the morphing master was being naughty?
What do you mean?
And planned this because they would have been the only one that knew about Chandra. Is it Sandra?
Chandra. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What if? one of the Morphin Masters like, you know what? I'm bored up in this joint.
Shit! Wow.
Let me send some.
Let me spice it up.
You know, maybe that Morphin Master got fired. That's why we haven't seen it. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, who else would have known about I can't even speak. Chandra? Unless,
you said it right.
Yeah, okay, you know, like, who would have known about her? Like, literally nobody. Not even Maya knew she was alive or not. She didn't even care about her after she got onto the moon. Like, you know?
Well, we never actually got to see Maya deal with the reality that all of her family and friends and her whole planet was turned to stone.
We never got to see it.
Her feel?
How did it make her feel?
She was probably on happy pills, okay, to keep away from her depression. That's why we never saw it. She was like,
girl, possible.
She was.
I'm gonna tell you, huh?
I was just gonna say she was always high as a kite.
But you know what though, like dead ass though, and that's, it's funny that you even bring that up, Will, because that is the same question that I was asking with Will on Ninja Steel with Brody, because Brody literally was on a ship stuck with a monster that kidnapped him as a child and made him into a slave. And he watched this monster murder his dad. Well, presumably murder his dad. And this boy was like, I can't wait to go to high school. Like, what? Like, he should have been broody. He should have been mad. He should have had the, like, it should have been, let me go fuck this dude up every chance he had. Like, it should have been, how can I get on Gavinax's ship so I can fight him? Like, it should have been, bring me Gavinax's ass right now. I am ready to fight. Like, it should have been that energy all day, every day. But instead, we got, oh man, my datacom is broken. Oh no, like, I can't fight the monsters. Oh no. Like, really? And I feel like that's what they do to a lot of those characters. They give them these dramatic backstories, these gut-wrenching, powerful stories, and do nothing with them. Just like, yeah, see? They had this happen to them. Isn't that cool? Yeah, but what's the resolution? Like, how does that work with the character? Does the character feel it? Like, how does the character react? Like, what is happening? And they're just like, well, I mean, the character, I mean, they're happy. They're happy-go-lucky because they found the other Rangers. Isn't that great? No, because how do they feel about the person or the people that they're missing? And we get these random little bits of nuggets of how Maya felt. And she's like staring out into space, being like, I'm just missing Marinoy. You just miss it? You're not angry that Scorpius just petrified your entire planet? You're not angry about that? You're just sad. Oh, I'm just missing it. Like, you know, because that sunflower reminds me of Marinoy. Oh, we had sunflower statues all over the planet. Ma'am!
But not even just that, but what the people that are in there, you don't miss your family, you don't miss your
You
friends,
don't miss your family,
your mother, your father, your sister, whoever else you may have had.
That old man that was on one episode at the very beginning and then at the very end. Like, what? You don't miss none of these people? You ain't mad? Like, nope, I'm not upset. I'm just missing them. Like, you know, whatever. Like, what? But anyway, but yeah, like, I mean, when it comes down to the relationships, I will say there were some great ideas for relationships, fantastic ideas. I'm honestly going to go out on a limb and say one of the relationships that I had very high hopes for when I read the bios, I had very high hopes for this, and it was a flop from the moment it happened. Gia and Jake. I wanted those two to be the greatest relationship of all time. Here's the thing. I wanted Megaforce to be one of the greatest seasons of all time. I actually wanted that. I was one of those fans at the time when Megaforce was first announced and we seen that group at Power MorphiCon. I was one of the people in the audience. I will never forget. I was in the audience being like, I can't wait for Megaforce to happen because I know it's going to slap. I was in the audience like, ooh, I can't wait to see this season. And look at what we got. I'm going to tell you right now. Those two. Now, granted, don't get me wrong. I really love the way both actors portray the roles. Because to look at them on an overall grand scheme, Ciara did a great job with Gia. She really did. She did a wonderful job. She ain't had shit to do, but she did a great job with the character. Same goes with Azim. The unfortunate part is that literally they took out all the meat of the character and just left the top layer of the character, which made him a creep. Because there needed to be subtext underneath the character and more plot with him liking her so that we can know and determine, okay, this guy is just not a freaking creep. But like he actually really does like her. Because the thing is, we only got him basically just being like, basically staring off in the corner like a creeper hiding behind a tree being like, oh man, look at her brush her hair. Oh man, oh Gia. You know, like that's kind of what we got. Like we never got anything from him.
Like stereotype, serial killer type jerking off while they're like, oh.
Yeah. it was given very bad. It was given very bad. It was given very, oh man, look at her take off her bra. Oh man, like he's jerking off in the mirror, like watching her. Like it was given very bad.
Those two were the best actors that season, I believe. I really was looking forward to him finally getting the girl, but it's just they portrayed him so horribly. And then after all that, you finally gonna give him a chance. He really broke you down like that after he was a freaking creeper.
Like a creeper. And like the thing is, it's like, what are you showing the kids? Like they always want to say, oh, the kids. Like you showing kids, oh yeah, if we just be creepy to girls, they'll like us. No, absolutely not. Like, no. It was very creepy. It was extremely creepy. Like, and they actually have scripts of scenes from Megaforce that never got aired, that never was put in the show. And I remember seeing a scene where basically Jake had this whole conversation with Gosei, and was basically trying to being like, you know, how can I get Gia to like me? Like, and Gosei is like, well, I am living in this rock. I can't really tell you. I can't really tell you how to communicate with her, or how to have a relationship with this girl. Like, I don't know what to tell you. But I mean, stuff like that would have been wonderful to see. And we could have seen them actually utilize the command center a lot more. And we could have seen more characterization, more of Jake being, because like in his bio, it's basically like, oh, Jake is basically what Zach was supposed to be in the 2017 movie. So it's like, it would have been wonderful to actually see this, and it would have given us more of a reason for us to root for both Jake and Gia. It would have given us a reason, and we probably would have been like, yes, Jake, yes, we're rooting for you. Yes, get Gia, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, instead of, you know, us being like, ew, Gia, run. Run, girl, because that dude crazy. Like, they just completely dropped the ball. So I would have definitely actually loved to have seen those two together if they didn't mess it up so freaking badly. Nate and Zoe. Ooh, child. Even when we were covering Beast Morphers, I didn't believe that. I didn't believe it. I'm sorry. I know, Lena, when we were covering it, you were like, well, trying to hold space. Girl, no. Do you still feel that way about them too? Do you still see it? Because I don't. I ain't seen it from day one.
No.
Okay. I see them as that cute, dorky, quirky couple that, like, I don't know, they're just so dorky together. I love it. I don't know. I love them. I love them as a couple. But if they weren't together as a couple, I would have been more than happy with that too.
Okay.
If that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like,
that makes sense.
They try to make them a couple, and then because we did see them as a couple, I'm like, you know what? I could see them as that dorky, cute, like, couple. But if they were never a thing, I would have been perfectly happy that they were never a thing either.
Okay.
Okay. That's kind of how I feel. Like, I didn't dislike them, but I didn't hate them.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't hate it, but I didn't. They could have either done one of the. Maybe they could have done Zoe and old boy Devon.
No.
I don't know. I didn't like, or none at all,
That's what I was just gonna say. None at all.
Yeah, like, I would say not at all.
Not at all.
Because Nate is just like this little kid.
He is.
I just don't.
But you also have to remember though, like, there are people out there in real life that do look like little kids that you would never picture, being in a relationship. Like my coworker. Oh my God. He looks like such a young boy, but he's really not. Like, he's a young kid, but he's not that young. But anyhow, my point of the matter is that I just feel, he's always pretty young too. It's just that I think the height difference really did throw everybody off.
Yeah.
So I think that's what it was, because like the fact that there is a height difference and Nate is supposed to have this very immature mentality to him because he basically never grew up outside.
Talking about Great Battle Force?
Yeah, because he never grew up outside of that. He never really had like friends his age or anything like that. So I understand now that he finally has friends his own age, that he feels that his childish side comes out of him because he never got to experience that, right? He never got to mature the way that everyone else did. So I can hold space for that, and I can understand that, because you can't really force him to grow up fast when he never got that chance to get out of his body, right? Like out of his system where everyone else did. And now he's in a situation where he's grown and he also has feelings and hormones, and like Zoe's pretty and he's into her. So yeah, good for you, I guess,
So good for you. Girl.
Like,
I ain't gonna hold you.
If they were never a couple, I would have been perfectly fine with that too. But it's because they already made them a couple that I'm like, you know what? Good for you, Nate. Go get your gal.
No, it's a dub for me. I never saw it. I was like, I don't believe them together. I don't. I really don't. Like,
maybe
and this is nothing against it's nothing against the actors or anything like that. I just personally just never really, even when they were trying to like show them kind of be like, ooh, they're, they kind of like each other kind of a thing. It really didn't give me that. Ooh, yeah, it didn't give me that. It was more so kind of like, oh, okay, that's cute, I guess.
It gave me a very teenager movie coming of age vibe. And you're right. It wasn't a situation of Taylor and Eric, but it was definitely a situation of like the Little Rascals, like the cute, look at them. Oh.
Wow. Not the Little Rascals. Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
you know?
They were really young.
They were, you know, I know that's the vibe I got from them. That's why I think I didn't hate them, because I'm like, look at them kids. I let them be.
Those kids. Those kids. But no, I don't know. I just wasn't a fan of those two. I was like, yeah, no, I'll pass on that one. Because honestly, I almost forgot about them, to be truthfully honest with you. I almost forgot. I was like, oh yeah, they weren't that.
Until you guys brought
I'll
it up,
be forgetting about that season.
Oh,
in general.
What?
I'll be forgetting about Beast Morphers in general.
You know, I'm with you, because it honestly, towards the end, it was not that memorable at all. It started out great. It started out with the hype, and then
that first episode, oh my god,
right?
It never hit
one of the best. One of the best.
Right? It was a really good first episode. It started out so strong, and then I don't even know what happened after that. I'm just like,
it tanked.
Right. We have a show called Beast Morpher. Got it.
Right. Like it just fell apart. Like
real fast.
Goodness.
So yeah. But I mean, overall, like if there were we almost forgot one. What do you guys think about Izzy and Fern? Our first LGBT official couple.
We support 1,000%.
I want more focus on their relationship.
That would have been cute.
Why they like each other and stuff. Because I love the fact that, you know, she was just a completely bitch to her initially.
What I want to know is how they even came out to realize that they liked each other like that.
Yeah. So like that, I really like that. And then Izzy was the good sport and helped her out when she was hurt. And then I think that was something that I guess opened Fern's eyes to her. And then I guess from there, maybe they were good, like cordial. It would have been nice if we got to see them interact a couple of times before they did that episode where they did the big old reveal.
Actually, you know what I would have liked personally? A coming out story for Izzy, like how she decided to sort of where she like her thoughts were and how does she know she was into Fern.
You know what? I will say this. I don't really know if I would have wanted that. Mainly because for one, like I don't think that we would have had time with what they were trying to do in terms of like setting up story. But also, I personally don't think I would have wanted that because it could have easily went down the rabbit hole of becoming very like, very, I have to try to find myself. And it could have turned into this whole like soapy drama kind of a situation. Which, I mean, has its pros and cons, but I don't believe that Power Rangers has a good foundation of setting up something like that.
No, for sure, right?
Yeah, so I do kind of feel like the way they did it in terms of just having her kind of be like, oh, you know, he like, Javi just found out of pure coincidence kind of a situation, like how they all found out. Like, I do actually like that because they didn't make it a thing, you know, and a lot of shows that I've noticed, and that's one thing that I'm grateful about Power Rangers with, is that a lot of shows, when they do have LGBTQIA plus characters, they love to make it a statement. They love to make it a thing where it's like, oh my God, look at her, you know, like, look at her be gay, you know, like, they love to do that. And it's like with Power Rangers, they made it so ordinary and just so like run of the mill, like, okay, this is just a thing. Like, she just likes girls. Cool.
Okay.
What's for dinner?
No,
know, so I like that. I like that idea more than trying to make it a statement, because that can easily take it away from take away the actual impact,
right,
of what they were really, of the intention that they were originally actually trying to set out to do.
Right.
Which may be the reason why one of the reasons, because I'm pretty sure there's a lot more reasons why we didn't get it before. But, that could have maybe been a reason as to why we never really got it originally. Now, granted, like I said, I'm pretty sure there's plenty of reasons as to why we didn't get it, and probably maybe because some of the people were just like, we don't want to see no gay people in the show. But I do kind of feel like, especially the writers of yesteryear, of the previous seasons, like, I don't necessarily, especially your Jonathan Tuzak, nah, absolutely not. No. Like, I highly doubt that he would be able to handle something like that. But I mean, it has come out that, not really come out, but there is some little birdies out there that has been saying that this is a thing. Like, they have been trying to incorporate LGBTQ characters in the show. They just couldn't say it outright. Because there is that rumor going around that oh gosh, what's her name? Haley, who owned Haley Cyberspace and Dino Thunder, that she was a lesbian. Like, that's a thing. Really? Like, that really is a thing. That, it was like she was supposed to be a lesbian, but they didn't want to say it. Like, it was kind of like one of those situations where it was like, she's not really into Dr. O like that. She's a lesbian, but the gag was, apparently, from what I've heard, is that she was a like, they were trying to make her an LGBTQ character, but of course the higher ups was like, no, don't do that. So they were going to try to, like, slide it under the radar and kind of make it one of those situations where it was like, I think it was like the season finale, I want to say, there was a scene where she was like basically saying, oh, I'm going to go off with a friend. Kind of a situation like, ooh, I'm going to go spend time with my friend. And it was going to heavily imply that, she's going to go be with a girlfriend or a woman that she's romantically interested in. So they were trying to kind of do things like that very early on. But, and I still say they were trying to do that with Kelsey. Because you can't tell me that episode with old girl, with the astronaut and her, like, you can't tell me that Kelsey wasn't going to tap that. Like, Kelsey and that girl went together. Like, you can't tell me that. Those two are together.
Yeah.
So, okay, like, they were together. So, the show was trying to, I do feel like they did try to incorporate LGBTQ characters, but I do think that now we are in a place where if we are going to do same-sex relationships, I do think that they will be able to do a better job at it and not make it so caricature and try not to make it so like, oh, look at the gay guy, he's going to be flamboyant, or look at the gay girl, she's going to be so butch, and Izzy does kind of fall into the more tomboyish diaspora, but let's be very clear, like, she's not like, like a typical quote unquote tomboy. Like, she still has her feminine sides to her. So I like the layers that they're adding on to her as a character. So I'm like, yes, I'm here for it. So they are definitely doing it right, I feel. So I kind of feel a little more at ease in terms of if they were to do another LGBTQ character in the show. I do think that they probably will do it right. Like, they'll do it like they're supposed to instead of making them like a, this random little laugh at the gay person type of situation. Where was I going with that? Oh, yes. My next question was going to be, and then we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. But I have a question. If, say, for example, even, the next season, for example, the next season of Power Rangers, if they were to give us a little piece of gay male in the show, they were to, have a gay male ranger, do you think that if they were to do it, do you think that should they have him be a ranger and have him actually like or be in a relationship with another ranger, or do the whole thing like they're doing with Izzy?
Make him the Red Ranger.
Oh, yeah.
I would have been fine with that. I would love that, actually.
I would love a little piece of daughter as the Red Ranger. Yes, honey.
Yes.
You better. The way I would be like, absolutely. Look at this daughter. Look at her. Look at her. Look at her. Yes. We love to see it. Listen, I personally would love to see Red Ranger be a little piece of daughter. I would love it. My only thing is he has to be in a relationship with another Ranger. He has to be. Like, I need it. I need it to happen. He can't just be a Ranger with just someone random. He can't be in a relationship with somebody random. Like, I don't want that. I need him to be in a relationship with somebody else that's on the team. Like, he has to. He has to. Like that's the only way. Because we need to be able to see him try to rescue his boyfriend every week. Like, absolutely.
Yes,
like,
we need a situation like Kimberly and Tommy without the Tommy all the time.
Well, that's Catherine. Tommy!
Well, people are kind of doing that in like the Mighty Morphin movie. I'm like,
oh my God. Oh my God.
I'm just saying she didn't do it with the accent, obviously, but she was doing it. Just saying.
I mean, Kimberly did scream for Tommy a lot, especially when she was losing her powers. Like, she became the damsel of the show. But she had a reason. But Catherine, she ain't had no reason. Girl, why are you screaming for Tommy when literally Adam is standing like a couple of inches right beside you? And like, he's standing right there.
Would have done a great job rescuing you, because I know he will do a great job rescuing you.
Hello. I mean, Adam standing right there. He could have been to you in literally not even 2.5 seconds. Like, Adam is like right there.
I mean, and
all he had to do was just turn around,
right,
and help you.
He is the frog. Like, come on.
Okay, like, he could have just leaped, turned around and leaped to your rescue. But instead, you calling Tommy, who is 50 feet across from you, who has to go run over to come and save you. It's
obviously,
girl,
she's testing him. She needs to know how much he loves her. Duh.
Oh God, not that toxic relationship like Spider-Man and MJ. Y'all ever seen that clip?
That's not Mary Jane.
That's not?
No, that's I think there was a villain called Hydro Man or something like that who could make clones of people. He made a clone of Mary Jane.
He made a clone of Mary Jane. Wow. That's interesting.
And she died she died in Peter's arms.
As she should.
And the real Mary Jane, he didn't know where she was, because the real Mary Jane, I believe, she disappeared on a bridge when the Green Goblin ambushed them. I think he had already kidnapped Mary Jane, and then there was some sort of a portal that opened and it sucked them in, and then he then all of a sudden she came back and it was that clone. So yeah, he never knew. He never found her, or at least not until the spinoff series. What was that Spider-Man
you talking
Unlimited?
about Spider-Man Unlimited? Yeah, okay. When his suit was that little piece of nanotech foolishness with the little tattered cape. It's like, this suit is ugly. But anyway, but not like, I just knew that was Mary Jane. But even if it wasn't, that hoe was like, so I'm gonna jump off this roof and see if you catch me, because that'll show that you love me. The way I would have let her jump and fall to her death, you helper, because you shouldn't have jumped. What kind of foolishness is that? Like, but I feel like that was Catherine every time. Like, let me see if Tommy loved me. Tommy! No, baby. No.
Oh my God.
Girl, if you don't fight them cogs by yourself, like, you going to bat against Archerina. Like, you know you could have defeated them cogs by yourself. And it was so dramatic when she would get beat up too, because the way they like knock her down and she'll fall all dramatically in slow motion, and you'll hear her, Tommy, and it's like, I'm coming, cat. It's like,
and as if the Zeo Rangers don't have the most powerful powers.
Exactly. I'm sorry, but
over time.
Okay, like, you can't tell me that you're dealing with the Zeo crystal that gets powerful all over time, and literally you can't defeat some robots? You can't defeat no robots? Come on.
Yeah, they underserved Catherine for sure.
They underserved her all the time to try to make Tommy out to be the Super Saber Ranger. It was just like, come on, man. Like, y'all ain't got to do that. Like, y'all really did make her look bad to make him look good. It's like, dang, for real.
Counterproductive.
Very counterproductive. But hey, I mean, sis got her due justice in Turbo. So I'm like, you know what? It's all good. Even though the Turbo movie, they still try to make her look bad because, you know, they made her, you know, fall off a freaking cliff and then mess her ankle up. It's always this girl's ankle. What is wrong with this girl's legs? I will never understand. What is wrong with Catherine's legs? Like, she is a trained ballet dancer and a diver. Like, this girl is literally like the all Australian girl. Like, 'cause I'm not gonna say all American because she was from Australia, but the all Australian girl. And you mean to tell me, like, this girl has the weakest ankles in history? Like, come on. This girl stayed twisted her ankle. Oh, my ankle. Oh, my ankle. Oh, my ankle. My leg. Oh, I twist my ankle again. Remember that episode where she was fighting the Dixter and Zeo when that monster almost killed her dog? Yeah. That monster almost obliterated her dog. And like, she fought against that monster. And child, the whole time, oh, my ankle. Oh, like, oh my God. Girl. So I'm just like, y'all really did do Catherine dirty. Y'all did her so dirty. But anyway, I think we talked about all the relationships, even some of the ones that weren't relationships. I think we did. Did we miss any? Do you think we missed any? I don't think we missed any.
I mean, I'm sure there's a bunch more that we probably missed that people ship, but
yeah, I think I mentioned I always liked Tyler and Shelby.
Yeah, we mentioned them.
That's all I can think of.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really think we missed any of them. I don't think. I'm just scanning through all the seasons. Yeah, I don't think we missed any. Other than, because Jack didn't really. Well, we did kind of like miss Mystic Force. I mean,
man.
Nah.
That was a waste of poor
like,
Madison's time.
Okay, they did Madison so wrong. Why they did Madison like that? She could have had that plot. I mean, y'all could have gave her that. Like, y'all said just bump Madison all together, huh? Just fuck her. Just But I don't know, like, and then of course Jack ditched the team for a white girl. And when he get on, When he get on, he'll leave you for a white girl. So that happened. And what else? I think we pretty much covered.
Ashley and Andros.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. I
mean, you know, they only made them a couple because they needed Ashley to have somebody.
Mm-hmm. You think so?
I think so because, like, you know, you're kind of talking about earlier how like everyone was grouped off based on like their friendship and stuff like that, even with the cast. And now we kind of know that not everyone was a big fan of Tracy.
Well, yeah.
You know, so I think they were like, you know, let's give this homegirl somebody. And
let's give her somebody.
And Andrew's like, fuck, because I'm the alien? Great.
Not because I'm the alien.
It is. Think about it.
Like, damn, I get stuck with her. God damn it.
Not even.
God damn it.
Even Zane was like, nah, girl. Like, I'm going after Crone. Like,
okay, because Zane loved himself some astronomer girl.
He was like, I'm going after an astronomer. I don't know what you ask. You're too basic for me. I need a strong woman. I need someone who's a boss lady. You know, no, Ashley, you're just too basic. It's not you, it's a me thing.
You and your acrylic nails. That line would always be great to me. That is just wonderful. Like the way Cassie read her for Phil, read her boots down. You and your acrylic nails. I'm always the one cleaning. Like, you better read Cassie. Read her. Her nasty ass. Because you ain't gonna tell me Ashley wasn't nasty. The way I would have told her about herself too. Like, how you gonna... You ain't even tried to sweep the crumbs off the table into your hand. You swept them on the floor. Like, who does that? The way I would have fought her.
You also have to remember she's a white girl, and she's actually not a white girl. Never mind.
She's not white.
No, I realized that after I said it. But
Ash? I know that
she's half Filipino.
Tracy isn't, but was Ashley a white girl?
I feel like
I always kind of felt like she was a white girl. Yeah, I always kind of felt like Ashley was portrayed to be a white girl.
Yeah, especially like her name, Ashley
Hammond.
Yeah, it's very white to me. I don't know.
And also too, her grandmother, that is a whole white lady. Like,
that's a white lady. So I don't know. I always felt like she was a white girl. We know Tracy Lynn Cruz wasn't a white girl, like completely white, but
yeah, I mean, I think she's like Latina and Filipino. Like those are her. Yeah. So
I don't know, but as Ashley, she's a white girl. She's one of those girls that wears like shoes on the bed and thinks that's perfectly fine.
I love that you just called that out. I'll be yelling at the TV every time I see that.
So I'm just saying, you know, like, I mean, you know, so if she's brushing crumbs onto the floor, she probably thinks that's her cleaning. That's pretty much how she cleans. These white folks be thinking like, no,
triggered.
I'm sorry, nope. And I find it so funny that like people have to explain culture to other people. Where I remember one time, I've seen people come to my home and I'm like, you're not gonna take off your shoes at the door? What?
I do that all the time. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, what? What do you mean? They're like, oh, I can't just walk through. I'm like, walk through where?
Okay. Well, not in my house you is.
Right?
If you don't take them shoes off.
Right? Like, I don't know. And then I'm not sure about you guys, but like, I'm not gonna lie. Growing up, my mom always loved house slippers, right?
Yes.
And she always got me trying to wear them. And I'm always like, nah, I want to be the white people with no slippers on. That was literally me. Girl, let me tell you, ever since I moved on my own, I'm all about those house slippers.
Well, I wasn't about house slippers. I was always walking barefoot, which that used to drive my parents insane, especially my mama. Like my mama hated that. Like, why do you? If you don't put some slippers on your feet, well, I mean, I don't.
That's basically me. That's basically me. But now that I live on my own and I have pets, trust me, when you have pets, you want to wear slippers. Just saying.
Why you say that?
Well, because for my pets, for some strange reason, well, especially with the cats, they'll have hairball coming out of them, and sometimes it's high, so you can't tell.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that. That used
and
to be so gross.
Yeah, my dogs, they like to leave. They like to pee in places where they shouldn't be, just because they want to piss off the cats. It's a whole big thing. And then sometimes when my dogs eat something they shouldn't have eaten, and then now they're vomiting it up, and it's like clear liquid, so you don't see it right away. Yeah, it's a thing. It's a whole big thing. So now I've learned house slipper is a great thing.
Well, the more you know, because I didn't know that.
And also, like, the other thing is too, I actually noticed this once. And ever since I did notice it, I was very disturbed. So even though you mop your home, you do your thing, right? You think it's clean. If you ever look at the bottom of if you wear white socks and walk around your home again, you'll see how dirty it is.
Wow.
That even though you clean, don't get me wrong. Like I'm a relatively clean person considering the fact that I have pets. And I pride on the fact that people do tell me when they come over, they can't tell that that they expect my home to smell like pets, but it does the exact opposite. And I'm like, thank you, because I work hard at it. I make sure my pets don't smell like pets. I'm just saying, my home doesn't need to smell like I own pets just because I do. That's not what I'm aiming for.
Well, yes, I agree.
But I hate when people's house do smell exactly like how you expected. That's definitely not me. Yeah, so I'm a relatively clean person. I try to, vacuum, do all my things. But if you ever do it once with a pair of white socks, you'll notice how dirty your floor really is. Yeah, whatever the proper grammar is. But yeah.
Wow.
You'll see for yourself. I did that once and I was like, oh, I'm quite disturbed now. I'm gonna wear house slippers.
Yeah. Well, to the people out there, you heard her. Wear house slippers.
Wear house slippers.
Because your floor is probably dirty. So you don't want to be walking around on no dirty floor. Okay?
No, you really don't. No, you really don't. And if you ever come over, I have house slippers. So don't worry. We all got you.
We got you. Yes, come on. Well, in that case, we hope you enjoyed the show. If you do have any couples, or if you think we missed anybody or anything like that, please let us know. We would love to hear your couples that you think are great. I'm pretty sure a lot of people are gonna be like Tommy and Kimberly. Yes, they were great. We just
don't mention them because we already know they're a couple.
It's
a thing. We know
it's a thing. So we didn't personally just recognize them immediately because we're like, okay, whatever. So, we know them. Yeah. But yeah. So if you want to let us know who your favorite couples are. That would be great. We'd love to hear them. And yeah, that has been this episode of Chiming In with the Grid. We hope you enjoy it. My name is Brandon.
My name is Lena.
And I'm Will.
And we will see you next time. Bye.